Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you, Satyaprasad, for connecting with us today at the India Cloud Summit 21. Now, hashtag ICS21. That's the hashtag where the conversation is gathering momentum on social media. Great giveaways through the day. And we urge you to connect in and join in on all the discussions. Now, we have an interesting supposition in the next panel, and our panelists, Dipu KV, the President and Head of Operations and Customer Service at Bajaj Allianz General Insurance, and Anjana Rao, the Chief Strategy Officer for IndiaFirst Life Insurance, reckon that every business is a cloud business. Well, it very well might be. Let's listen in.
Thank you. Looking forward to a good discussion with Anjana. And as we all have seen, especially in the last 18 months with all this talk around, not just a digital way of working, but a digital way of living, cloud adoption, especially, given that, it's been a significant catalyst for digital transformation, has grown steadily for the last decade. But only recently, have we seen, the conjunction of, technological evolutions, all these terms such as digital, data cloudification, artificial intelligence today have become ubiquitous. And also, as business has evolved, right? We've all heard about corporate agility, ecosystems, digital workforce, right? Innovation, etc. So the combination of, business evolution and digital evolution, in tandem, it's creating a paradigm shift. And the impact of the cloud, therefore, is not just about technology transformation, but business transformation as well. And through this entire conversation, Anjana and I will share our views in terms of how we view the cloud journey and whether there's a need for businesses to take the lead in terms of cloud adoption going forward. So, Anjana, as I said, looking forward to a good conversation with you. And let me just start, by asking you that in terms of, the cloud that we spoke about, what do you see, as the impact on business? For example, what has been your cloud journey? And, for the sake of our audience, if you can just share a few points on how, one can make the right cloud choice for their business.
Sure. Thanks, Dipu. So I kind of echo with you, like it's like this time around, it's the technology which is leading to business, the evolution of technology is leading to the business transformation. So it's like the pace at which we evolve, the technological solutions are evolving, and they are defining how the businesses are going to perform, So cloud slowly, so initially it was kind of a technology agenda, but now it has found its way into the strategy of the organization, and it has become all of a sudden a very vital element, and it is beyond the cost rationalization, where people are looking at cloud, okay, how am I going to leverage on cloud as a technology to drive innovation agenda? Whether it is going to simplify my journey of enhancing the customer experience. If I'm defining a customer journey for, let's say, claim settlement, is it going to, if I move my entire claims platform onto a cloud, is it going to help me? So those are the questions which, so the cloud first approach, as we say, that has seeped in even with us. So while I won't say that, I'll say we are in the cloud adoption mode. We have experimented, like most of the organizations, where anything new, it is cloud first. But couple of business applications, okay, can I just experiment and, let's say, a lead management system? Can I a sales automation system? Can I put it on cloud and see what kind of synergies it brings in, and what kind of efficiencies can I get? So that's also confidence boosters. So couple of solutions we already have on cloud, and we see that yes, it has helped us to scale up, and it has also helped us to easily extend our processes during the COVID. So it also helped us to quickly get into that contactless mode, because the ease of integrating solutions which are already available and making it a part of your process, which otherwise would have been a cloud-based solution, you make it a part of your solution which is on-prem, and then the latency factors come in, every time an image needs to be processed. So there were quite a lot of challenges which I felt kind of eased out the moment you started looking at cloud. So definitely growth, innovation, and how it will help to make the processes very, very, very efficient is what, or agility, if we can talk of, is how I look at cloud. And this is how we are crafting our journey. I would call it as a journey. And yes, there's a larger alignment which we are seeking with our management, because it's a huge investment, and it's not going to be an overnight affair. There is quite a lot of patience required, because as it is a journey, you're going to deal with your existing stuff, and you're going to migrate onto a, so from your as is to be is gonna be a challenging journey. So yes, that's my bit, Deepu. I hope I answered your question.
In great detail. And to pick a cue from what you said, I think, journey.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we also embarked on this journey, quite some time back. And I think, the combination of transformation of our core plus, hosting on the cloud, I think it really, helped us, when COVID happened. One of my friends put it colorfully. It was a global unplanned UAT. And I think, it helped us, not just survive, but actually, thrive through the entire period.
Yeah, and now I don't think so. All the solutions which are there on cloud, I mean, we need to think about their backups, their DRs, all those drills. All of a sudden are done away with.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is someone else's responsibility. So how are you trying to capture the real value from cloud, people?
Yeah, good question, Anjana. And I think, for starters, I think, by moving to the cloud, we were able to move from, siloed data marts, to a single, data lake. And I think that helped us, have a 360-degree view of customers, which obviously helped us, because today the footprint of customers is digital and there's a lot of data. So I think, with this 360-degree view, we're able to give, customers, unparalleled servicing. The other is in terms of our time to market. I think we've been able to, significantly influence that. And I think, it's clearly helped us because, as we discussed earlier as well, agility is a norm nowadays, and the cloud is really, an accelerator on that front. Also, I think, in terms of, risk and security, I think cloud helps us a great deal. I think, we've been able to have a very clear, path forward, and without having to, worry about, some of these derailers. So I think all these factors, have kind of, stood us in good stead, in terms of, capturing value from the cloud. And on that note, Anjana, wanted to ask you, because the whole point of, technology and business, right? Do you think there's a real need for, companies, to step away from the idea, that the cloud is only about technology, right? Because if you look at a McKinsey study, what they've seen is that there's a strong cloud connection to the 5 key areas, that all CEOs must make a note of, which are speed to market, reduce costs, flexibility of operations, resilience, and innovation capability.
True. True that. Cloud is no longer. It has grown beyond the technology agenda, as I said earlier. Yes, definitely, and it has found its place into the org strategy as to how it is going to help. How application as a service, or how platform as a service is going to help, I would say, an organization to liberate. So if you want to find that liberation, it's quite essential to migrate onto cloud. But again, so while there are benefits, while there are the said benefits, but how carefully you craft the journey, because I heard you say that you have already moved your core onto the cloud. That's great. But there are organizations who have the legacy systems, and those challenges will exist. So one is, yes, definitely cloud has come into the agenda, but how am I crafting my journey so that as an organization I'm able to realize what I want? So maybe first goes my application, then followed by my database or the data lake. That so we are yet to migrate our data lake onto the. But yes, everybody within the organization at a senior management level, there is an alignment that yes, this is the way forward, and it is so technology definitely will play a vital role, because ultimately cloud is all about technology. But yes, it is no longer the CTO's agenda; it is the org's agenda. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point, and I think what the pandemic has done, right? It's clearly, and the pandemic has been a truly global phenomenon, right? Industry agnostic, country agnostic, right? The
Yes.
need for digital business models, right, has clearly been there, and I think cloud platforms, can only help on that front. And when we were all,
Yes.
pausing, to contain the spread of COVID-19, right? I think many insurers, demonstrated great resolve, right? And even as
Yes.
our operations, stabilize, right, and we enter, the new normal, right?
True.
It's very clear to, it's very clearly, we need to understand that we can't add to our, technology debt, right? We just need to ensure that, we have best practices going forward. So
Yes,
I
and
think
there's a continuity. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So Deepu, just wanted to understand, if you can state instances where you have realized, how your organization or how your cloud journey during your cloud journey, you have got benefited with the customer experience improvements. So how cloud has helped you to enable customer experience.
It's a good,
And
it's a good angle to look at, because ultimately, we all exist, because of the customer. I think what happened, when overnight, everybody had to get a digital servicing. I think the fact that we had a strong, underlying infrastructure, in the form of, the cloud, and of course, our digital assets. I think really, helped us, move from, call centers getting shut overnight to ensuring, uninterrupted servicing for our customers. So the way, our core, speaks to our middleware, and then this middleware, of course, stitches the customer facing assets, so that the associates and our customers, get instantaneous solutions. And we have customer facing assets in the form of WhatsApp, our AI driven chatbot, customer portal, our mobile app, so on and so forth. So I think we were able to immediately, gravitate customers to this. In fact, at that time, our grievances saw a massive dip. They dipped by 90%. So I think, that way clearly, we were able to ensure, top-notch servicing, and also some very simple but effective solutions. So for example, if a customer, let's say had to visit a branch, right, and that time branches, took their own time to function. So if you let's say, you clicked on maps, right, then the bot would kick in and say,
yes,
that I see, that you're trying to go here, right?
yeah.
Can I help service you digitally, right? And then, it obviates the need for, physical servicing. So clearly, that's where, it's helped. I did speak about, the 360-degree view earlier as well, right? And again, that really, plays on the landscape in terms of, location-based servicing also. So that's how, we were able to, take up, customer experience. And I think all in all, given, the digital footprint of data, stitching all of it together, I think, the cloud really helped us, differentiate ourselves and take it forward. And also helped us bring in voice, because during this time, touchless UI UX took off.
Exactly.
So I think,
Yes. Yeah.
so I think, even voice-based servicing coming. So I can, kind of, keep going on and on, right, in terms of, what we have done. But what I wanted to do was, pick this, and then ask you, saying that while we spoke about customer experience, right, but from your perspective, right, how do you see, cloud, enabling, AI ML initiatives? Because there's been a lot of talk about how AI ML have, raised the bar, in terms of digital transformation as well as customer servicing in the last 18 to 19 months. And if there are any examples, that you may want to share on this front.
So definitely, I mean, so the direct derivative of cloud migration, one of the derivative of cloud migration, Deepu, would be, one being able to realize the benefits of AI ML. So I'll give you, I mean, couple of examples as to how we have felt that cloud has helped us to realize, or enable AI ML within various initiatives that we planted at India First Life. So let's say for example, I mean, I mentioned about my lead management system. Okay. Now, what we wanted to do is every time a lead gets created, can we provide an intelligence to the field that, look, for this particular lead, this is the lead score. So which tells them which one to work upon, which one to focus upon, which one not to focus upon. Now, all this learning was basis the data which I had with me. Now, the moment we moved our solution onto a cloud-based solution, I mean, there was a larger learning from multiple instances which were hosted, right? I mean, and that learning was easily available to me. So my lead scoring model, the confidence score, became much more, it was a higher confidence score, and it really impacted the way, the conversions, the lead conversions were happening. So this is one example which I wanted to talk about as to how it eased off, because you have a cloud, you have a solution on cloud, and then you have inherent inherent insights also being derived basis the data which is your data plus whatever organizations are using. So what kind of profiles will convert, what kind of profiles will not convert, all to get that insight was so easy and so easy to integrate. Whereas here earlier I was struggling for a cloud solution, having data models which were on-prem, and then the challenges of integration. So this is one instance which comes to my mind. And secondly, if when we migrate our CRM onto a cloud, so again, the underlying AI ML. So wherever we wanted data-driven insights to personalize the journey or personalize the communication to the customer, it came so handy, which otherwise would have been quite effort intensive if we were to do it in an on-prem model. So this is where I feel, it is in true sense an enabler for AI ML initiatives. Data lake part, again, because we've not yet migrated, so I won't be able to comment on it, but I would want to understand from you what have been your learnings, because you mentioned your data lake is already on the cloud.
Yeah. So I think, Anjana, when you talk about AI ML, right, I think there's been a lot of talk, but let me pick, some specific examples. I think, for example, if you look at our chatbot, right, and chatbots are passe, right, every industry has it, but I think where did we differentiate ourselves, right, in terms of, notching up customer experience? I think one is, especially in our context, you need to speak to the customer in his language. So we were able to, get the bot to speak to customers, in languages beyond English. So I think the multilingual aspect, really helped, kick in customer experience. The other is, what happens when you use, artificial intelligence to teach a bot is, it's basically taught, using your, past data, right? But what if there is an unprecedented query? And typically you've seen, right, bots are sometimes, they sometimes ask customers to terminate their chats and call up the call center. We didn't want that to happen. So we basically focused on, having a human being complete the journey. So it's automation plus assisted automation. And then using AI and NLP, we keep teaching the bot, so the bot's own percentage of first time query resolution is on the increase, in a secular manner. And also when you look at claims, right, you fully understand that, being from the insurance industry, right, that's the moment of truth. So earlier, let's say if you crashed your car, you would have had to basically call up the insurance company, get a surveyor to visit the site, and the whole process would kick in, right? It would take days. Why don't we simplify this? So now what we do up to certain amounts is, if the customer unfortunately crashes his car, all he has to do, just 2 clicks, take the photographs and upload them using a mobile app. And then we have an AI engine which will go through these images, quickly assess the extent of claim damage, and then convey the amount to the customer. The customer gives his consent, the money is transferred. It happens in 20 minutes up to certain amounts. It's a real wow in customer experience, right? So just, a couple of examples, of how, AI and ML, have helped us, notch up customer experience.
I kind of agree with you. Even the voice as an example. It was so easy to integrate voice-based commands, within my application, which was otherwise it required. So when we did a POC, it was quite a lot of elaborate affair, and the go-to-market time was really very high. But now here, when I had the solution on cloud, integrating and enabling voice-based commands became such a easy affair. So, and again, having those multilingual, because so if I have to extend the same commands in 4 or 5 languages, again, cloud, I feel cloud liberates you to pick and choose what options you want, and it literally minimizes the time to go to market.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So Dipu, what are some of the key actions that enterprise leaders you think should take to achieve or derive value from clouds?
Yeah. I was kind of, expecting this question, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about, value maximization in today's context, right? So I think one is, clearly, creating awareness, right? I think that's first step. You just need to ensure that, everybody is aware, because the cloud is not the exclusive preserve of, let's say the technology, or the digital transformation teams, right? It's for everyone across the enterprise, right, to derive value from it. So I think clearly, there's a case for, creating awareness in terms of how people can, achieve value, because knowledge, is the first step to action. So I think that's one. The other is, ensuring that, in a sustainable manner, right, we have the funding to support the investments required, because ultimately today it's about ROI, right? So the right investment gets you the right value, right? How do you take it forward? Whether it's security, whether it's avoiding hardware obsolescence, whether it's about, ensuring that, you come to grips with data and, you maximize, the value from the data that you are able to build in terms of various models, right? So I think that's clearly, one angle. The third is ensuring that, across the various functions, right? I mean, today there could be silos, in a lot of, across firms, right? So whether it's business, whether it's technology, whether it's, the operating teams, right? How do you ensure that the operating model, right, is built, by, let's say, having cross-functional teams, even squads, as some people call them, in terms of ensuring that, you're able to get efficiency and scale. So I think what's important today, to derive benefits, is to ensure that, you take it up, in a big manner, and scale it up again across the entire enterprise. The third is, we all know that today there's a war for talent out there, right? So how do we also, for example, ensure, that, in terms of, ensuring that we get the right specialists in terms of, one operating it, and in terms of, deriving maximum value from it, right? There could be some, very highly specialized teams, right? So how do we have, the right policies, to attract the right talent, and also build on it? So I think if we can focus on the people aspect, the enterprise aspect, awareness, and the right investments, I think, we'll be in a position to, achieve maximum value. And, it's an ongoing journey, right? We all keep learning as we go along. And I think the last 18 months, have led to a huge spurt, in learning, even for leaders across the entire enterprise. And I think, the only way is up in terms of awareness, also in terms of, value extraction.
So besides this, I feel, Dipu, I mean, while cloud first is a desirable move and one needs to go in that particular approach, one point which I'll take from your discussion, the pointers which you made is there has to be a very cohesive strategy.
Right.
It cannot be like every department or every function is trying to, push their solutions to cloud without the cohesiveness being there. Otherwise, it's gonna create its own set of challenges, which will then become so while multi-cloud strategy sounds very exciting, but I'm sure it will come with its own set of challenges. So that was one bit which I wanted to add, that yes, leaders are looking forward to, but they have to have patience and they have to have that integrated approach, so that and a cohesive approach as to, yes, this is going to be the path which we are going to choose, and the sequence in which the migration happens also will play a very vital role, is what I feel, and this is something which the leaders have to take into cognizance.
Yeah, Anjana, I think, valid points. And, to just build on that, right? I think if you're talking about, cloud adoption, Anjana, we'd like to know from you, what are some of the key concerns, right? How do you think, they'll impact business? And from a cloud provider perspective, right, what are some of the expectations, to address, whatever concerns, you may, for example, highlight?
So I would say, Deepu, primary concerns remain around, to get the act right, because there's no one size fits all kind of a solution, right? So it's not a standardized strategy. What works for, Deepu will work here as well, right? So how do we carve, again, I'm at the cost of repetition. So having the journey, so that's, if you don't get the act right, then it is a short recipe for disaster. So taking baby steps rather than going in for a big bang approach is something which I would want, is one concern, because if one fails here, the costs involved are, really huge. How we the whole overall approach as to what needs to be, an overview as to where do we want to go with the set of applications that one already has, what needs to undergo refactoring, what continues to be on-prem, how we compromise. I mean, whether there will be a compromise in terms of latency factor, I don't know. I mean, so if I have, let's say my whole of underwriting decision making is on cloud, but then ultimately, if my core continues to be on prem, so is there going to be, and my sales journey is on some other cloud, so two multi clouds and then one on prem, and if this entire orchestration has to happen in an STP mode, what kind of latencies is it? So these are certain things which are concerning, but I'm sure I mean, these are the facts. And then you also have those private versus public, right? So many, the journey was like, from on-prem we moved on to a private cloud, and then you moved all your core non-core stuff onto public, and then now when we have clarity, more experience, so the bridge between public to private to on-prem, so that is again one more how it will coexist while the complete migration doesn't happen. That is also a concern, which is yeah. I mean, so these are few concerns which I have, and I'm not able to go beyond them, because ultimately there will be a state in the intermittent stage. You will have all the three coexisting. So what kind of impact they will have on the overall experience is something which I think the cloud providers have to address.
Yeah, no, you are right, and I think typically when you look at entering this journey, like you said, some of the standard concerns are around security, migration, adoption. So that's where awareness, and getting a very clear value proposition, are of prime importance. So you're right, and yeah, so I think as we embark on this journey and continue into the new normal, I think we're already in the new normal now, right? At least in India. So yeah, let's hope that we're all able to thrive.
Sure, fine. So great, Dipu. I mean, I think it was a good conversation and good exchange of knowledge, I would say. I hope the viewers also benefit from this conversation of ours. So while concluding, my concluding remarks would be, I mean, it has become an imperative. I mean, a cloud first approach is an imperative, and business leaders have to get involved in this journey, so that we get it right in the first time itself. And definitely it has gone beyond the realms of an IT program, and it has become, and cloud first approach or cloud adoption has become an integral part to drive innovation, growth, bring in efficiencies and resiliency. So with that, we conclude this session.
Thank you, Anjana. Thanks, everyone.